Yeah. Disciple. About to get him. Realization for those who live with no inclination, cause they seem to lack the ability to ingest information. The unknown hordes, like sun rays along old hallways. While humanity takes mental tours of these corridors, scholars say time's playing stressed us. A wall with displays of the days of our ancestors. Ominously anonymous, humanity couldn't stop it.
How you doing? This is Brother Noise.
Disciple.
We're here at Hard Candy Land Private Studios, and I've been doing a series of interviews of some of my favorite MCs. We had Lyrical Justifier here, we had Just Jules, and now we've got my man Disciple here. Not only a producer of hip hop, trip hop, R&B, pop, what have you, any type of music that he wants to put his mind to, he can, and put a new spin, whether it be a modern spin, whether it be like a classic, jazzy, inflected hip-hop spin, 90s boom bap, whatever. Dope producer. You know, I've watched this man come up in the ranks from being on a street team to being an MC, to being like a lyricist of many types of music, to being a sample editor, music producer, an amazing songwriter. We are in a group together, MK836. We have an album out now called With Us or Against Us. He also has an album with Lyrical Justifier titled Marked for Life under the name Jersey Advocates. They also have an album coming out soon called Microphone Control under Jersey Advocates. Very prolific writer as far as beats goes, lyrics goes, amazing flow, amazing lyrics as an MC. This man has written, you know, probably more tracks for me as an artist than any other producer out there. I'm a producer myself. I've written many tracks myself, but if I'm going to go to anybody else on a regular basis, it's going to be Disciple to get beats from. And if you have any respect for me as a producer, then you know if I'm deferring to somebody else for production, for beat writing, you know it's got to be somebody dope. I don't even mess with other producers except for Soulbuck. DJ Soulbuck, I get beats from him. But anybody else, you know, it's my man right here. There's another cat.
Appreciate that.
We call him Will from MFL. He's a cat named Will Stevens I grew up with, who actually taught me how to construct a song. Taught me a lot about production. That's the only other cat. Him, Soulbuck, Will, and Disciple. 3 cats in the whole known universe I get beats from. And no disrespect to Will and Soulbuck, my man Disciple has contributed maybe 50 or more beats in the last couple of years to this label, and many albums that are coming out have tracks by him, and our styles are so similar sometimes that I have to look at the original song titles to know whether I wrote the beat or whether he wrote the beat, because it's just like, I'm kind of like, was he influenced by me, or is it just from us being around each other, or is it just coincidence? I'm not certain. I can't take the credit that I influenced this young man, because I did not sit down with him and say, I'm going to teach you this, I'm going to teach you that. He learned what he learned on his own, or whatever source. I'm sure I don't know if he watched any YouTube channel to learn anything. I don't think he did. I think he just sat down with his software and his equipment and taught himself. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to ask this great man, this great citizen of the world, this great family man, this great friend to his friends. I'm going to ask him some questions here, and I'm a little biased, because this is one of my best bros, one of my best buds. Great deal of mutual respect here. Anyway, Disciple, I got some questions for you. So what has been going on with you for the past few years? What's been going down with you artistically, professionally, career-wise, musically?
Well, you know, I've been working on the mixtape. I've been working on a new mixtape. I haven't quite decided on the title of it yet. I've been bouncing back and forth in between a few. I don't want to say them here simply because I don't want anybody to take them.
Right.
And just making a lot of beats, trying to get my name out there a little further, and just making my way back around here.
All right, cool. Let me ask you a question. When you first started producing for, at the time, Hard Candy Records LLC, well, Hard Candy Records Incorporated. I'm actually forgetting the name.
Okay.
When you first started producing for Hard Candy Records Incorporated, and a lot of the artists who were here at that time, like that whole camp that we had, the Mag Fifths, the Tiffany Nikitas, Jake Schuyler, all these cats were here. And they had such a strong reaction to your production where they were like, yo, did Chris produce that? Can I get a beat from Chris? Like, how did that make you feel? Like, how did it make you feel that you were that well received right out the gate?
Well, happy I was received that well. It's a nice feeling, you know what I mean, to have people appreciate your work, I'm glad that they liked it because I enjoyed making it, and just try to keep the quality up, that's all.
Right. Okay, so I'm here with Bryant, the father of D-CYPL, or Chris D-CYPL Collins. How are you doing today?
Very good.
So, how long has it been that you realized that Chris had musical talent?
Wow, he's been writing since he was like 10, I guess. He used to have all these notebooks that he wrote all lyrics, and I don't know if he wrote music, but he wrote the lyrics down, and he had dozens and dozens of them. So a long time.
So
20, 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
No, 20 years, not 30. What?
I guess 20 years.
20 years. So
26 years.
about 26 years. Okay. So, is this something that you've encouraged, or is it something that you've been proud of, or how have you felt about this?
Oh yeah, I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of him whatever he does. He's a very good man. He works hard. He thinks a lot of family, and he's a good man.
So speaking of family, from what I know of Chris, he's very family oriented. He's very social. Very well adjusted socially, which is something some of us struggle with. How much of that have you instilled in him, I should say, yourself personally, the whole social and family aspect of his personality?
I've always concentrated on family. My wife and his mother and me split up when he was very young. I think he was first grade, was it? I guess first grade or kindergarten.
Before that.
And he's come, I used to pick him up every weekend, and most of the time we spent with my brother and his family, or a lot of the time. And Chris is very close to them. And I don't know how much I've influenced him that way, but maybe he could say better.
Yeah, it's a lot of influence there. I guess life lessons and stuff like that. So a lot of the music, the life lessons that I have, him and my mom.
I know lyrically Chris focuses a lot on social issues, a lot on even political things, and as opposed to some of the, I guess, girls and guns and money type aspect. How does that make you feel about the subject matter he chooses in his rhymes and his lyrics?
I think I feel very good, because a lot of the rap I hear is on girls, and actually not very high not very good about girls, like curse words and this and that. And Chris seems to avoid that for the most part. And I think he thinks very much about what he's going to say and how he says it in his songs. And I really enjoy a lot of his songs.
All right, this is Disciple of Mindless Sound Records. Jersey Advocates, MK836, Legion of Rhyme, and producing on a lot of stuff. On just as much stuff as I can. And I'm supposed to answer a couple of questions. So here we go. What or who got you into rhyming? And that's an easy answer. I was kind of a poet. I wrote poetry on and off when I was younger, when I was like a kid, just a child, all the way into my teens. And my cousin introduced me to hip hop when I was about 9. And that was off of a pop record, Jump by Crisscross. Although I'd heard some other stuff, but I was a little kid, so I was allowed to get obsessed over that and play it and play it and play it and play it. Me and my boy Sharif Farrakhan, I remember we were jumping around our kitchen, not our kitchen, my kitchen or my mom's kitchen, you know what I'm talking about, in our house, and we were running around the table jumping up and down to that song till the tape popped, and I had to wind it back in with a pencil. It's an actual tape, like a cassette tape. And then when I was in high school, as I got older, I was in high school, and I was in math class, and my boy Lloyd, aka La Murder, aka LG Fam, he was like toward the front of the class, and I was toward the back of the class, and that's like my brother from another mother since we were like 10 years old. And somebody said to him, what are you gonna do, or something like that with your life or something. And I was like, I remember hearing that, and then from the back of class, I was like, I'm gonna be one of the greatest MCs of all time. He gonna be my producer. That's what we gonna do. And he was like, yeah. And he actually tried his hand at it after high school. He became a DJ, and he was, starting to get into producing, but he stopped. He got tired of it. So I just wound up producing myself. Me and my boy David Eze used to rhyme in the C-Wing first floor in Columbia High School. And how that started was, we were just walking home ciphering. No, we were walking to Walgreens, just ciphering. And his cousin, Uchenna, he spit something, he was some vicious bars at me, and I came back at him. And it was, I don't know what I said, but it was very vicious, almost to the point where it was cruel. And everybody was like stunned for a second, and then it was like, damn. Because I really, really got him. And it was just really messed up how badly I got him. And after that, me and David, we would just cipher in that C-Wing first floor every day for like hours and hours and hours, to the point where we were in a clique of like 7. And I remember my boy Gene, aka Ray, he would jump in and he would rhyme because he was a poet, and he freestyle with us and whatnot. But we would do it so much that it just started to irritate people. Like 2 years in, that was one of everybody's key complaints. Like, sometimes they would jump in, and sometimes they would listen and encourage, and other times they would just be like, shut up. And David would always start it off, and he would go, yo, 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 for like a minute and a half. You could tell he didn't have nothing. Like, you'd think he would come up with it before he started doing that. But like a minute and a half, he would just be like, yo, yo, yo. He'd spit like 7-8 bars, and then it's like, I'ma toss it to my man Chris, and always put me on the spot. He would always end his rhyme unexpectedly and put me on the spot. But that helped me as an MC, because freestyling really helped me, and then putting me on the spot all the time really, really helped me develop my skill. So, and he's also the one, we were coming up with names, and we were like modeling our little clique. Everybody loved wrestling, so we were modeling our clique after like a little wrestling group. And we were coming up with names, and he came up with a name for himself, and it was Capadon. And everybody else came up with names. My boy Lloyd, LG Fam. I think it was Chen who came up with that name for him. My boy Steve came up. I don't even think he came up with a name. And David Eze, he was Dave or Little Dave. He didn't like being called Little Dave. That's because we had a Big Dave in the group. And that's David. Big Dave. He just became Big Dave because he's like 6'3", and he's he's a stocky guy. So, and then there was Uchenna, and he came up with his name. And David Eze, he just snapped his fingers and looked at me, and he said, D-CYPL. That's what he said. That's the name he came up with. So he actually came up with the name D-CYPL, and he's the one who kind of donned me that. And after that, I kind of remember this thing from when I was younger. I was with this group of other friends, and my mom and their mom used to chill all the time. So we used to chill all the time. And that was my friends Michael, Patrick, and Megan, and their mom, Mrs. Keefe, Rita. And me, my brother Brian, and my mom, we used to chill with them all the time. And we were in this, because we're all Irish, we were in this Irish store. And Chris and Christopher both actually mean disciple of the Lord. So, disciple of like creation, and just like the direct influence of creation. It just felt right to go with that after a while. So that's why I kept it ever since high school.
What was that moment for you, or maybe it is just come, or maybe it came a few years ago, I'm not sure, in your journey as a producer, a beat maker, a beat writer, whatever you want to call it, in your journey, what was that moment for you where you were like, aha, I think I'm here. I think I'm ready. I think I'm the man for a minute. At least you kind of were smelling yourself. You're feeling yourself for just a minute. Like, I know I've arrived. I can make dope beats. Like when you knew you had what it took. What was that moment for you?
Well, I constructed a lot of stuff, and it's usually come out really well. And you've given me a lot of praise, and I always appreciate that. And that helped me know that I was definitely on the right track. But actually, it didn't come till recently that I came up with a song. I was at work coming up with a song, and it started out sort of making fun of this dude, and me and the guy are cool, so I wasn't making fun of him for no reason. I mean, he was just
a good
his
fun.
old tricks,
Good fun.
So I decided to make and while I was making fun of him, I came up with a hook, and I started coming up with the song. And I told him, you know what, I might make this into a song. And he didn't like that much, but I guess he kind of realized that I couldn't go any other way with it. And then I went home, and I actually made the exact type of track that I needed.
How you doing? I'm here with Lloyd,
one of Chris or D-CYPL's longtime friends, brother from another mother.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, just
Yes,
even
sir.
somebody that I've known for 15 years myself, and somebody I'm very fond of, and I'm very much a supporter of what we've accomplished and what we've done over the years. So what are some of these aliases that you've gone by, you know, in the formative years of you know, Chris's whole rap saga, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, La Murder. That was one of my aliases that I went by for a while. That was the most recognizable.
Yeah, yeah. He calls you that sometimes now. He'll just kind of be referring to you and everything. But so when did you kind of get a feeling that Chris was really serious about this and that it was actually going somewhere? When did you get a feeling, you know, that he kind of had the touch?
Well, I mean, man, since we were real young, I moved to South Orange, Maplewood, and I had to be, I'd say, about 11 years old. And I always knew he had a thing for hip hop, and which I mean, when I say a thing for hip hop, I mean he really, you know, he knew his stuff, and he was always. Chris was always, you know, like I say, he was always very much into hip hop, and I mean, so much to the point where there would be things that he would talk about that I didn't even have any clue about, and I would get a lot of my info from him. So, but in high school, is really kind of where he started to, you know, take off as far as like trying to create a name for himself. You know, freestyling. We used to freestyle all the time. Well, he used to freestyle with one of our late buddies who passed away, and you know, we used to. I used to try to keep up with him, but I couldn't.
Right. You're referring to
had this like going thing that I'd be his producer.
Yeah.
I didn't have any skill myself.
Right.
You know, and but you know, he actually went on to do something with you know his rapping and his which I always thought was great.
Yeah. So how does it make you feel looking at the things he's accomplished, like producing himself, the albums he's done that I've produced?
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's great, and man, he's his determination is just like, it's one of the things I always admired about him. He you know, he had a dream, he had a vision, he had a goal, and he actually, you know, went for it, you know, and is doing it. I always thought that to be amazing, and to that, man, he was just, I think it's great. Chris, you know, D-CYPL, he's got a drive in him like you know, like nothing I've ever seen, you know, and personally, you know, from knowing somebody who's personally like that, it's inspiring. It's inspiring.
All right. How would you describe your style? When I started rhyming, I kind of modeled myself after Biggie because he was a chubby dude. He had a lot of confidence, and I always thought that was like a good thing. It was a great thing because after a certain point, I got chubby, and I kind of had a decent amount of confidence. I had a weird amount of confidence for a stocky guy, and you know, that was who I kind of modeled myself after at first. But then once I heard Big Pun, I was just lost in his flow, the way he put things together. And Black Thought has a similar style. So Pun called it the Spitfire style. And I listened and I kind of modeled myself after Pun, like punchline and kind of comedy wise and style wise, because he was always very quick witted. And Black Thought, he was quick witted, but he was more political. So content wise, that's who influences my content. Yeah, but they both, the style, the whole what Pun deemed the Spitfire style was kind of made famous by Cool G Rap. So they kind of both, I guess they were both kind of influenced by Cool G Rap. So that's where the style comes from. But that was, the Spitfire style is like Pun and Black Thought. That's kind of how I would describe my style.
Top tracks, D-CYPL.
Oh yeah, there it goes.
Which one? This is the same
D-CYPL
thing.
top.
Yeah, that right there.
Oh. You want to get a...
Am I allowed to play this?
Yeah, there's no person in there.
No, I mean, I don't care about the persons.
I do.
I don't know if like you want me to.
Here's step out and some sort of food room. Let's pour the cause. That's your out?
That's the name of the video. And I took that picture on the camera.
Is it like fast forwarding?
Oh, that's a pretty cool picture.
Greg came up with the border and everything. Border right here. And he came up with the symbol, the headphones with the cycle logo. He designed that whole logo.
The purple one is his remix album, a remix EP.
What is the newest one? That one? The purple?
No, that's just like they came out at the same time. It's just remixes. He did that beat that you hear now.
The ones with this cover with the picture on the train, I did all the beats.
The one on the picture.
Greg did all the beats for the one with the purple.
Oh, the purple one. The one with the headphones?
Greg did
Oh,
the ones with this picture?
this right here.
Yes. That I did all the beats for that. That's 6 tracks. That's how many tracks are on this EP. So I did that beat. But the ones with the purple cover, that's Greg did all the beats for that one.
His drive is unyielding. You know, he has an ear. He has a mind. He's very, oh man, I don't even know how to explain him. He's kind of like he's a genius. He's like, when I say genius, he sees things and hears things that most people don't see or hear, and he has a way of putting that to word, and like I said, unlike anybody I've ever seen. And you know, through all his hardships and through everything he's been through in his life, in his personal life, he's never faltered. Like, he's always kept going and doing more and doing bigger and doing better. He's just always got it.
Do you think people will judge you for who you are instead of your skill? And why? Yes, of course. I'm not always the most put together guy. Sometimes, like, you know, my beard does grow out quite a bit. It grows even, luckily. Or I should say I'm blessed for it to grow even. But, you know, obviously the whole white MC thing. Sometimes people judge you when you're a white MC, and it's either one way or the other. You know, we've seen it with we've seen it with Beastie Boys and Third Base and Vanilla Ice. You know, you can get a hit. You can be white and get a hit a little more easily because you're easily digested by the masses. And that's just like statistics. But also it can work the other way sometimes if, they don't expect me to be a dope MC, so when I say something incredible lyrically, it gets emphasized because they didn't expect a white dude to be able to do that sometimes. That's happened to me. And other times, even if I do something dope or I do something incredible or I get a hit, people are going to be like, oh, he only got that hit because he's white. So, or they'll be like, if I say something on a certain level, they'll say it lacks credibility because, you're a white boy, But, or they'll ask me where I'm from or whatever, and sometimes they'll act like that gives it less credibility. But, yeah. I hope they'll judge me on my skill. But, that's what they'll judge me on besides that, and that's probably why. It's in their own heads. It's everybody. That's the way it works.
Or how do I put this? Probably the only 26-year-old girl in this neighborhood. Probably in my own age group. Probably in my own, I think I'm the only girl I know my age that only listens to rap, loves rap, and spit pretty mediocre 16 bars thanks to my brother for influencing me.
Yeah, so you like your brother's rap?
I do. I don't think he knows this, but his rap or the way he expresses his lyrics is probably a lot better than the way I do. I don't really use it for
She likes the West Coast stuff.
I like to write it down. No, I like the East Coast and the West Coast, but I like the purpose of not the usual typical drugs, money, girls, weapons, money. He actually has a purpose with his rap,
Right.
and I think that's going to get him places because people are so focused on the mainstream, and he stands out to me. I know when he was little, like everything little for him was like 12, 11. I didn't really realize what like rap was, but I just know that there's one thing that my brother does is he does not give up. I mean, this isn't something for money. It's definitely something that he finds passion about. And I think I'm not sure if he told me the person that or the people he produces beats for, but the record that he was signing. Whatever the question you asked before.
Yeah, he did an EP, and he did all the beats for his own EP. It's called For the Cause. Like, he's done other albums, like with Jersey Advocates and with MK836, which is an electronic group. But he's done a lot of other albums, but this is like the first one where he did all the beats himself, and he's like a solo artist
so
on it.
he doesn't even need a beat producer. He does it
Nope,
himself.
does everything himself. He just needs an engineer, and that's me.
That's great. I'm proud of him.
All right, so is there anything that you'd like people to know about Chris that they might not know? Any insight or perspective you could give?
Yeah, like I said, Chris is he's like the way he views the world and the way he sees things and interprets, and they can put that to his rap, to his music, is really something genius. And like I said, he's like a mastermind, and the way he digests information and everything that's around him is quite unique and unlike anything I've ever experienced from somebody. And his determination, like I said before, it's quite unmatched. He does not stop until he does and gets to where he wants to be. And like I said, through everything that he's been through in his life, his personal life, he's never stopped following his dream. So in that I've always respected that about him. So yeah, he's like I said, he is something special. For sure.
All right. Well, being that you are one of his most longtime friends and somebody who has a special viewpoint, we're gonna definitely trust and believe you on that. And
For sure.
we definitely, thank you for your time and everything and your insight.
No doubt, he's one of the best, man. He's going places, and I'm proud of him for everything he's done. He's accomplished a lot, so much more than I could ever hope.
Okay. Well, thank you for that insight, Lloyd.
No doubt.
La Murder.
La Murder.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
I mean, sometimes I like to chop things down, and sometimes I like to sometimes I just like to let the samples run just to see what they do, and then other times I like to reverse them, or I'll cut two together, just to get a decent. Sometimes I have to cut two together just to get a decent bass line, or just like a sample, like the sample that's gonna go through the whole beat. And hooks, I definitely have to chop stuff for hooks, but most people say cut and paste, but I don't always. It's not always as simple as cutting and pasting, but it kind of sounds like that. But I definitely wind up just like chopping stuff down, having to reconnect stuff. Sometimes it's one sample, sometimes like 5 samples just to make a decent bass line, make a decent sample. I've definitely had to do that for drums on an occasion, where I've had to chop like 2 or 3 sets of drums together, or have them run at the same time just to get decent drums out of some of these kits. Not that the kits are bad, they just, and other times I do like to let them run. Like this one's got the bass line and the drums, I ain't even changed nothing about them. But I had to put 2 different, like I had to get vocal samples and everything. Vocal samples, 2 different bass lines, and chop them together or let them run sort of one. They skip every 2 bars or every bar.
This is your work area.
Yes, this is my work area.
And then you take it to Studio A or Studio A of Hard Candyland Private Studios, correct?
Yes, I do take it to, after I do finish all the stuff in my process, I do take it to Studio A of Hard Candyland Studios. And then of course, Brother Noise, yourself, he edits it, and or he just like, a lot of times doesn't even have to edit nothing, but sometimes likes to add or take away and add something else of his own design. Or we'll get a musician, a studio musician, to come in and do different things, guitar, basses, not keyboard most of the time, because Brother Noise is an expert on that. He's been doing it for a very long time, so we don't really need a keyboardist. And like I said, maybe he'll take something away, maybe he'll add something to it, maybe he'll switch a little something, or he'll just have a different type of vocals or something like that. Sometimes, most of the time, he has no problem with the beats I give him. He just uses them as is, and other times, it's a creative process. So we work together.
Yes, definitely. But speaking myself as Brother Noise.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I would just say that maybe when you first started writing beats, like the first year, like year 1 of D-CYPL as a beat maker, when you were more known as D-Note, I might have added like a bass line or something, or put a break in or something like that. But in the later years of D-CYPL as producer, I haven't had to make any change. I usually take stuff the way it is and just pretty much run with it, and don't even usually have to do much to the mixes or anything. We might add a hook from a session vocalist, or might suggest an MC to be on a verse or something like that, or might even sing on it myself for one of my projects, or rap on it myself for one of my projects. But you definitely have inspired me and even pushed me to my craft, to step up my craft as a producer, because like you definitely are definitely a master of working with sampled elements and beats.